Good afternoon, I'm Amber Taylor, and thank you for joining our session, Listening to Black Girls, School and Community Change through Homewood Youth-Powered and Engaged Media, also known as Hype Media. One thing we do in Hype Media is share affirmations to get things going. So before we get into our session today, we invite everyone to move to the chat and share an affirmation. For Hype, affirmations are positive statements that set the tone for your day or your space. They let other people know how to talk to you and how to address you. I'll go first. My Hype affirmation for today is, I am wonderfully made. So let's just take a moment and fill the chat with our affirmation. And as everybody is doing that, would you guys like to share yours?
Hi, Nadia. Mine is Black is Power.
Hi, I'm Sanai, and mine is I am Black and Powerful.
Hi, my name is Kayla, and mine is I'm Black and I'm proud.
Hi, my name is Nadia, and mine is I'm Black and I'm beautiful.
Hi, my name is Kamiyah, and mine is All Black is Beautiful.
And I'm Dr. K, and my affirmation for today is I am unstoppable. So thank you, Amber, and thank you everyone for sharing your affirmations in the chat. We invite you to keep thinking about them as we move through our presentation. Affirmations are so important always, but especially in times of crisis, and as we imagine and sustain local and global liberation. I'm overjoyed to moderate this space with a special group of Black girls who have become so important to my commitments and understanding of myself, the world, Pittsburgh, education, freedom, play, struggle, and so much more. When I introduced Hype Media, Homewood Youth-Powered and Engaged Media in 2019, I couldn't have imagined the relationships, commitments, and all that would grow from this as we reflect from this space, as we reflect together on what it means to listen to Black girls. So this youth participatory action research project is focused on the central question of what happens when we listen to Black girls. And not only when we listen, but when we move to action. And so today, these young ladies will share their experiences in Hype Media and focus those conversations around 3 key areas of dress code, gun violence, and school safety that they have deemed as important. As a grounding quote, I invite us to listen to Black queer womanist organizer Adrienne Marie Brown, who says, "The crisis is everywhere. Massive, massive, massive. And we are small, but emergence notices the way small actions and connections create complex systems, patterns that become ecosystems in societies. Emergence is our inheritance as part of this universe. It is how we change. Emergent strategy is how we intentionally change in ways that grow our capacity to embody the just and liberated worlds we long for." And so here today, we offer our small contributions to a larger emergent strategy in conversation with CUESEF. And so I'll turn the conversation over to Amber, Nadia, and Kayla to give you all some context and history about Hype Media.
So, hi guys, once again, I am Amber, and so before we jump right into it, I just want to give you guys a little bit of history about how Hype Media has started and why we do what we do. Hype Media started as a group to, just talk about problems that we face in the Black community as Black women and as Black girls. In this space, we have created a place for Black women to come and Black girls also to come and share their voices and have a safe space where they can feel that they can talk about whatever they want to talk about, speak about how they and be themselves unapologetic. One thing that we have done in Hype is get grants to help our dream come to what it is today. With these grants, we have created multiple events for Black women and Black girls and other Black people in the community. One of my favorite events were the mental health event where we invited teens to come take a mental health break at the Everyday Cafe in Homewood. At this event, we allowed people to, get a free drink or a free pastry of their choice. And we also talked to people as they came to let us know why they felt they needed this break and why we need to do things like this. Overall, the response was, we're not cared about, we're not seen, and our mental health does not seem important to the people around us. Another thing that we talk about in Hype Media is our dress code. We talked about why the dress code is not fair and why we need it to change. We brought this up in meetings with our superintendent that we've had a couple weeks ago. And talked about the policies that we go through, why we go through these things, and why we feel these things in our schools need to change. Ever since that meeting, we've had meetings with our principals to talk about what we can do to change these things in school now, rather than wait until later and then not see any results. Right now, we are focused on our mission in helping our school and helping Black girls share their voice and positivity throughout the world through our social media and through our podcast. And on our podcast, we talked about how we feel about personal issues, such as the ones that I've mentioned before, and just things going on in our everyday life.
Thank you, Amber. My name is Nadia. I'm a part of the second Hype group. I joined Hype in late 2021. Since I've been in Hype, we've had a lot of meetings at the CEC, did a lot on social media, met with the superintendent Walters, had weekly meetings with our principal to think about ways we can change the school and hope to plan a wellness room for our school. We have helped out with the process of Davon Vickers, did a Wikipedia project and presented it at Pitt, and have been preparing for this conference. We've had many highs, like helping out with the protests, going skating over spring break, eating out, and just relaxing with one another or more. But we've also had some lows, like when we first started the project, not everyone or most of us couldn't really get into it because we thought it was boring. So then, as we moved on and found out we were editing our school's page, we got more into it and enjoyed it more. Then we thought that we should be able to tell our school story since we attend the school. Also, there was a point where there was drama that we faced and overcome. Overall, this year has been fun, and now I'll let KK take over.
I would like to add on what Nadia said. I feel like the vibe/energy that is in Hype gives off is fun, chill, and just overall a good place to be. I say this because you could be yourself. You don't have to fake how you feel. And I think that's what technically is like a big family. This is important because in a school, there's different types of kids and different ways that we all show up. So me, for instance, I'm quiet, but I do have things to say. When But when you make me feel uncomfortable for being who I am, I stop talking or disconnect. At Hype, I can be myself, and when I'm not observing everything, I contribute because I know that there's things that I can change, that I can make a change.
So thanks, Nadia, Kayla, and Amber for giving us an overview. It's important to note that Hype Media is an out-of-school time project. So these students are students at Westinghouse Academy, 6th through 12. These young ladies are ranging between 9th and 12th grade. They've all been promoted. So the bios that you see, please add 1 year to the grade level that they are representing. They're most proud of that promotion. But what's really important here is that in Hype Media, we're really thinking about critical literacies and the ways that we give names to the experiences that we both witness and experience every day. And so often these young ladies come into the Hype Media space with observations, with critiques, but not always the language to describe what's happening or the support to think about how to revise those experiences. And so in what follows, they will offer some commentary on their experiences and how they've come to understand those things. And in the Q&A, we'll invite you all to engage us further and think about ways that we can continue to imagine change in communities and schools. And so before we get into our conversation around dress code, there is a small skit that has been prepared to open us in our conversation.
You got this.
Hey, Kayla. How you day going? I'm living with the foot.
Ms. Brown,
Yeah.
don't you think you're showing a little too much up here, a little too much skin, too much shoulder? I think that we should get you a nice jacket to cover it up, just something, you don't want to be flopping too much now.
But I don't see the problem.
But there is so much skin, like you're distracting people in your class.
What about the boys that are walking around without shirts on and
They're
saying,
boys, you're a female. Have some more self-respect for yourself.
But I do have something to myself.
Really not dressing like this. If you wanna keep defining, we can go to the principal's office.
For wearing something that I'm comfortable in.
That's not the problem. The problem is you're showing too much. If you wanna keep, I'm gonna do this back and forth with you, you're a child. But we can go to the principal's office.
If I'm a child, then
Let's-
why does
you know
when I
what?
wear a bother
Maybe-
anybody?
Maybe I should call the principal. Maybe because clearly you're defying the school code. Just like- So either you can put your jacket on that I see, or you can go to the principal's office instead of there.
If my shoulders are bothering you that much, then I'll put my.
They're not bothering me. I love self-expression, but it's just a little too much.
But you got that.
Okay. Hey, a break?
Yeah.
Have a nice day. You both.
Okay, so as that's it, you can see what we deal with on a daily basis. Our conversations around dress code have talked about the policy and the language that they use in the policy, such as advocate or promoting sexual activity or violence. Honestly, if it's really that much of an issue, why do you care? Like, I just don't get it. Why aren't we able to wear what we feel comfortable with wearing? And it's not really an issue about clothes, it's an issue about our bodies, is what you're making it seem like. As Nadia said, they tell us, oh, you're showing a little too much on what? Don't try to deflect the situation because you want us to cover up or you want us to feel comfortable, but yet these boys can walk around, butts all out, shirts off, showing whatever they got, but as soon as we show a shoulder, an ankle, a pinky toe, anything, it's a problem. These aren't just issues that we face at school. We also face these issues at home and in our communities and in our so-called safe places. If these places are supposed to be safe for us and make us feel the most comfortable in our bodies, why are you singling us out and telling us that we can't wear certain things? Then on top of that, we have white kids that come to our school for CTE programs or just to visit or anything like that, and no one says anything to them about what they're wearing. But as soon as a Black girl steps into the school with spaghetti straps on or a dress or shorts that are too short or show too much, it's a problem. And we are either written up or we have to go home or we can't return until we come down here with a parent. Honestly, these so-called policies and these so-called rules that keep us safe and respected make me feel very uncomfortable.
So I'm gonna add on to what Amber said. At our school and other schools, we have strict rules when it comes to things that we can and can't wear. I feel like it's not fair that boys are allowed to wear whatever they want. They're allowed to sag their pants and they can walk around shirtless. Yet when I wear a shirt or we wear shirts that show our stomachs, it's an issue. In my opinion, I think that school dress codes are targeting and harming girls. Getting dress coded can result in girls feeling uncomfortable at the fact that there could be people in our school sexualizing what we're wearing, even if it's something like an off-the-shoulders top. It can also make them feel insecure. Just in case some people don't know, when I say dress coded, I mean being stopped at school by an administrator or teacher and being told that your clothes are out of dress code or inappropriate. And if I'm being honest, it's not so much of being dress coded, it's the way people approach you. When someone stops you and says, "Where's the rest of your shirt?" or that your attire is distracting, that's a problem for them. Girls dress to express themselves, and getting dress coded can lower their confidence and make them feel like what they wear is inappropriate for them.
Hi, my name is Sana, and I am a student at Westinghouse Academy 6 through 12. My topic is dress codes. At my school, us females are not allowed to wear spaghetti strap shirts, and if us Black girls were to wear one, we would either have to get sent home, or they would give us a shirt to cover it up, or we would have to go in our lockers and find something like a jacket to cover it up. We are also not allowed to wear leggings, which is stupid because it starts to get hot. Sandals are now on my list too. If we wear sandals, we are either we are either getting sent home or we get a warning. Some of you might think, what's wrong with sandals? It's not the sandals, but if you have a rule, everyone should have to follow it. So when our teachers say I can wear it, but you can't, what is the purpose of PPS having a dress code if we are all PPS and if we're all PPS, we should all be held. We should all be held at the same standards. We are also not allowed to wear shorts that doesn't go past their knees, but sometimes they let certain people go. We are also not allowed to have belly shirts, but boys are allowed to walk around the school with their shirts off, and they're also allowed to sag. We're also not allowed to wear yoga pants. How is it a problem, you may ask? It's a problem because it isn't fair for us girls. Yes, we have more and bigger body parts than the boys, but we should be able to get treated the same. Nothing is equal, and it's always the male adults who call us girls out. Me, I don't really have a problem at the school because I always wear sweatpants and hoodies. But it's not just my school, it's all around the world.
Hi, I'm Kamiyah, and I just wanted to talk about the dress code. You know, things I want to talk about is like, I used to get told every day to wear the rest of my shirt. And that right there is insecurity on some females. Because females, you know, show their body to make themselves feel more comfortable. Because when I wake up in the morning, I be like, oh yeah, I look good. I would just want to go to school with my friends. But every time I walk in the building, the principal, he just asks me where the rest of my clothes. He don't say good morning. He don't ask me how's my day or anything. He just comes to my body. And what they said is like they treat us Black females worse than the boys, because these boys can walk around with their butts hanging out, no shirts on, nothing. And it's just like, it's not fair. And another thing is that they don't make middle school wear uniform. But when we was in middle school, we had to either pay if we didn't wear uniform or we got sent home. And that's just not fair. Because like, supposed to treat us all equal. And then most of the dress code is towards us females. Like, why don't you treat us all equal?
So to bring these thoughts together, we can clap for each other. To bring these thoughts together, what we're really contemplating here is how do we imagine the ideas of expression, equity, specifically as it relates to gender and expression as through school dress code. So in the Q&A, we hope that you will engage us and challenge this group to really think about what's at the core of these conversations of expression and dress code. And so we'll broaden the conversation a bit and move to school safety as it relates to their different perceptions of what it means to feel safe and how they imagine safety in the future.
School safety is very important to kids. Because kids should feel like they can do their work without worrying about getting cussed out or down by any student or teacher. I feel like mentally, kids should feel safe. Because kids go through physical, verbal, and mental abuse at home. And it shouldn't be okay for them to go through that at school too. And it's like kids nowadays, they're very suicidal and depressed. And it's not good for the generation. And the last thing we need right now is more kids our age dying. And when people really don't know about the energy at Westinghouse is that it's in the city. When you decide to combine all these neighborhoods, East Hills, Wilkinsburg, Homewood, East Liberty, in just one school, it's like there's kids have like street beef and interferes in school and interferes with other people's learning and other kids don't feel safe. And it leads to kids stop coming to school, kids failing, being in the hallways all the time, and it's like, that's not safe for all kids. Kids shouldn't have to go to school and feel like they have to wash their back every second. It's not okay.
Well, I feel like school safety should be like, and it should be a place that makes them feel comfortable, and that they shouldn't have to be worried about what could happen or what might happen to them. I feel like that puts like a mental strain on a kid that they have to protect themselves and stuff like that. And even when we go to school with certain stuff, they take it away from us, and even if we didn't know that we had it on us, they don't give it back and they make a big deal out of it. But if I'm walking in a bad neighborhood and I'm a female, it's gonna make it kind of hard and stuff like that.
What kind of things are you talking about, Kayla?
Like, I would feel like pepper spray and stuff like that.
To me, school safety is when I feel supported by the school itself and its staff. I'm in 10th grade now, going to 11th. My whole school year that just passed, 10th grade as a whole didn't have a singular field trip. Well, every other grade did. I feel like that's not fair to us 10th graders who do our work, get to class on time, and behave well. The school expects us to do many things, but in return, we get nothing. In my opinion and others, it makes us not want to even try the sensitive thing. We're at school while other grades get to go out and have fun on field trips. And students from other grades might say things like the field trips weren't fun and etc. But it's the principle. They still got to go out and we did it. Some of you may wonder why field trips are connected to safety, but I want to be safe to play, to dream, to think about my future, to be rewarded for doing good in school. All kids deserve to feel safe to dream. I rest my case.
So personally, for me, school safety has always been a really big issue, especially with the school that I attend now, which is Westinghouse. I remember the first time my mom told me, like, hey, you're going to Westinghouse, I cried. I bawled my eyes out because of the things that I've heard about the school. And not all of them are true, but safety is a really big issue. In the morning, we have to go through metal detectors and have our beds searched because, you know, it's a wild neighborhood and kids can do anything. But yet you don't check the teachers when they come in, so they can also bring anything into the school. We've had incidents like that a couple of years ago. So I just feel as though if there is going to be school safety and there are going to be policies in place, everyone should have to follow those policies and not just the students. Another thing that I feel with the school safety is that this past, what was it, May, I believe, yeah, this past May, we went out of town on a college tour. So on this college tour, we were, you know, safely accommodated by adults, but these adults did not have any regard for our mental health on this trip. They didn't care about our emotional health, and they spoke down on us most of the time on the trip. On the trip, we were very disrespected, and they told us that as the adults, they demand respect, and we have to respect them, even though they were cursing at us and doing many other things. Another problem that I have with the school safety is that when Antoine Rose was murdered by the cop, a lot of people walked out to go support the protest downtown. And when they did walk out to go support this protest, we were told if we walked out, we were going to be suspended. I don't understand that because as students, you should want us to, you know, protest things that are wrong. You try to teach us right from wrong in school, and you try to teach us safe ways to go through our life. But yet when we want to go downtown to protest something that happened to another Black kid, it's a problem. And we are reprimanded and, how do I put that, disciplined for not following school protocol. And if y'all really felt like it was that serious to suspend us, y'all really should have taken us on a field trip so that we understood why we should be doing this. And as Nadia said, I rest my case. So our next topic is going to be gun violence. And personally, gun violence has really impacted my life, especially within the last year. In the last year, I have lost more than 5 friends to gun violence, and teachers are not really supportive of that. They say, oh, I'm sorry for your loss, and I hope things get better. then they continue to pile your work up. Like, they don't sit there and talk to you about how you feel. They don't sit there and ask you, do you need help? And even if we did need help, we don't know what resources we have in our school. We don't know who we can talk to. We don't know who we can trust. So throughout the day, we just walk around with this heavy burden of losing a friend, and we don't know how to handle losing a friend. Nobody does, really, no matter what age you are, no matter what gender you are, how old, like, it doesn't matter. Grief is grief. And when you don't know how to deal with grief in the correct way, it can build into something more like anger, depression, and depression can lead to suicidal thoughts and things of that nature. Gun violence is very serious, and when we deal with it almost every single day, especially in the times we live in now, and there is no one in school or in our community that we can talk to effectively, it's just going to keep happening.
I don't know if I said it last time, but my name is Nadia, and
Take your time.
in the last 2 years, I have lost 3 people to gun violence. 2 of them were family members that I was really close to, and one was a person that I've known for years. The first person I lost to gun violence was my cousin. He was shot by his own friend in front of his house. That night changed my life in many ways. I was so hurt by what happened that I didn't realize how I pushed my friends away and distanced myself from them because I was scared I would be next. Gun violence is no joke, and I don't think people realize that. It's sad that every day there are people dying, from newborns to innocent elderly people. We see this happen to our friends and family, yet nothing is done about it. Then there are the people committing the crime and getting away with it. My cousin's killer is known, yet he's still out there living his best life. He was at home enjoying the life he had while my family had to mourn over my cousin, who was only 15 when he had his life taken by someone he trusted. The fact that this is being normalized in the world we live in is sad. There needs to be a change now, because if not, any of us could be next.
I lost so many family members to gun violence, but recently, like a good 2 months ago, I lost a very close friend of mine to gun violence. It broke me, but I am not depressed anymore, so I can talk about it. It was hard. Nobody wants to come home from work and get a call saying that your son or daughter or even a close friend or family member has passed away. It just isn't fair. Put the guns down.
Do you want to share about organizing a post?
That's in my next part.
Oh, excuse me.
It's Amber's turn.
All right, so my recommendations for solving, well, not solving, but helping to somewhat fix the problem of gun violence is, instead of calling kids lost causes or calling them thugs, show them a better way to talk about why they are the way they are and understand why they feel that they have to do the things that they do in order to survive. Don't call them a problem child, or don't just say, oh, well, boys will be boys or girls will be girls, because that's not the case. If you don't deal with problems while they are still just seeds, they will grow into plants, and then those plants will continue to spread throughout the world. And it's just going to become an even bigger problem than what it already is.
Mine is stop the gun violence. Stop the violence in general. I should not have to be dealing with the pain of losing people I love and care about to nothing other than natural causes. I'm so drained from crying over something that can be stopped.
Even though nobody is going to listen, put
audience.
so even though nobody's going to listen, put the guns down. Like I said, nobody wants to get a call saying that one of your family members has passed away, especially from gun violence. Hype Media has helped me get through my friend's passing. They also helped us get everything organized. I am thankful for them, and I am thankful for them because I was hurting bad, and they helped me get through it. How is this a problem, you may ask? Because we're losing our friends and family, and it is hurting us.
My recommendation is towards the dress code. I feel like y'all should stop downing black females and treat us equal as the boys. And then start doing what y'all did years ago, keep the uniform thing up. And the dress code, y'all should look at it towards more of females and more of both. Because it's just really not fair.
My recommendation goes towards like the field trips and how fifth grade didn't really have any field trips this year or anything like that. Instead of like not giving them field trips, why don't you ask their whole class for something that they would like to do? Not even if it's a field trip, just something fun that they would want to fun that it's up to them and not y'all.
Okay. My recommendation to my school is to be more fair with field trips amongst all grades and to support students better than what they currently do. My recommendation to the world is to do better as a whole for multiple reasons. Oh, can I say my last part?
Please.
Make sure y'all stand Stray Kids, a Korean boy band group, and Stream Circus for clear skin. Thank you. CGN is out.
Did a good job.
Thank you. So now we're gonna open the floor for questions. And the way this will work is the people who have logged in, all of these squares, they can unmute or type in the chat. And once they share what they want to say, then any of y'all can respond back to them. All right.
Amen.
Hallelujah. Go back.
Oh, okay. I'm going first. Honestly, a positive experience that I've had from one of my teachers is Mr. Hensley. He's my journalism teacher, and he just makes sure that his classroom is a safe space that anybody can go in there and talk to him. I remember this one time, I had some personal issues going on with my family, and I just went in there and talked to him, and he let me cry it out, gave me a snack, let me take a nap, and just made sure like I just had everything that I needed in that moment, and it was really helpful.
I agree with Amber with the same exact teacher. There was a time in school year where I was crying for something that's stupid. Now that I think back on it, but he supported me and let me come into his class for like 2 periods. So also other teachers from middle school.
And I think the question from Sarah about positive experiences is important because when you think about the out of school time space, Hype Media has really become a processing space in many ways. And so there are a lot of celebrations of both the positive with teachers, with friends, just in the world, but it's also those spaces where you kind of bury down something or it's become so normalized that it's happening in the school so often or resemblant or reflective rather of the school culture that you don't always know that you can ask questions about it or think it through. And so just to be clear about the balance here, the sharing is not to diminish the positive experiences where students have felt respected or supported, but really to amplify the necessity for spaces for Black girls specifically in this context, but students largely to be able to process and give name to their experiences in order for them to feel empowered to move through and really push those other teachers to think about how we could create other positive experiences based on their teaching style or their personality. So Donna asks you all, are your voices being heard by folks who can make the changes you need? So who is listening to you?
The superintendent Walters has listened to us when we talked to him.
You want to talk about that, Mita?
What?
Yeah, Dr. Walters.
Walters.
Dr. Walters.
My fault.
So does somebody want to tell the story about how we even met with Dr. Walters and what the experience was like?
The reason why we met up with Dr. Walters is because we made a request to have a school day off so that everybody could attend Davon Vickers' funeral who wanted to attend. Sadly, we weren't able to do that because it was short notice, but he did agree to meet with us and talk to us about things that we want to change, as well as the current event that had went on. The meeting that we had with him was very insightful because he didn't speak policies at us, and instead he explained them to us. And honestly, just a little piece of advice for anybody out there: if the person you want to hear you out is not listening to you, go to the higher ups. Because
Yeah.
somebody gonna listen to you one day. You just gotta keep putting it out there.
Do anybody want to add about, are you in spaces where you could be supported? This question. Anybody want to talk about the meetings with the principal?
Oh,
And how
meetings
it-
with the principal.
Well, like how we work towards, how we work consistently towards change.
They can hear us.
They can hear you.
The meetings with our principal, Sarita, what's the Mr. Sarita, it was not getting nowhere because 1 minute, oh, I don't mind if you record me. And then the next minute, it's like, why are you recording me? Because so we can have proof, because we're talking about the wellness room and you still don't have nothing planned. And we're giving you hints and we're giving you ideas that we can do for the wellness room, and you're still not taking in our ideas.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
I think what's the guy's going with is like, basically locally, we're just gonna say locally in the school, our voices are being recognized, not necessarily heard, but they know we're talking. It's just they're choosing not to listen effectively.
Yeah, they're basically
They're-
pushing us aside.
They're just choosing to do what they want with bits and pieces of what we have to say.
They're
And
trying to use us
it's
for
not,
our
it's not
clout.
affecting what he's really attempting to do.
I like that question.
Okay, so there's y'all are so powerful and strong for keeping the laughter and joy in your hearts despite the hardships y'all have endured. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here. Mwah.
All right, so Mr. West, what kind of policy toward clothing and self-expression do you feel would affirm you and feel more fair?
Honestly, I feel like it'd be more fair if most of the stuff that females wear wouldn't be a problem. And y'all should start looking more about the boys wearing shirts and having their pants pulled up to their right. Because their pants don't be pulled up and it's a problem when our pants are a little too short.
So equal attention to both,
Yeah.
for all students, like any student represented should have equal attention.
Yeah.
All right, anybody else? What would be more fair?
For them, what would be more fair is for them to not only flag down people, like they flag down people who have bigger areas than others. Like,
Yeah.
why is someone getting flagged down for having a crop top up here? But if someone who had less up here also had the same crop top, same everything, they wouldn't call them out on it.
So it's more attention to body
Yes.
or body parts instead of clothing.
Yes.
Okay, so the policy should be focused on clothes and not
No,
body
it should be
composition?
all of them.
Okay, all right. Anybody else?
I think they should talk to us about how we feel about a dress code and not just enforce policies that we, one, don't know nothing about, two, that aren't fair. Like, y'all should talk to us about any policy that y'all feel like y'all should pass before y'all just pass it. Because most of these policies are made by adults and we're children. And if you don't get somebody say so and doing something, would you want to do it? No.
Okay. All right. Anybody else want to add to that one? Y'all good? Okay. So I love this program, that this program allows teens to have a voice. What are some ways the community can support you guys in your efforts to make these changes?
Help us speak out on things that
Yeah.
need to be spoken out on.
Yeah.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
To just off of the question that you just read, I would like to know that too, like how in the community, because you guys are in Pittsburgh, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm in Philly, and you know, the things that you ladies spoke about during during this workshop are the things that I see as well as experience, and I'm an adult and still have the whole dress code issue as a Black woman. So I would like to know how out here in Philly can we spread your message?
Support us on social.
Yeah, for real. Y'all can
Yeah.
support us on our social media, tags, let me get them up for y'all.
Hypemedia.pgh.
Yep,
I'll put it in the chat.
hypemedia.pgh. We're also gonna put it in the chat so that y'all can share that. And we also have a podcast that you guys can listen to, which will also be in the link tree in our Instagram. But honestly, in the community and surrounding areas, just back up what we say, like support our voices. If you really want to see a change, you have to help the people that are trying to enforce the change. So yeah, that's just how you can help. You guys have any other ways?
Made peace.
How has the community, how do y'all feel like the community has helped y'all? I think like the protest, the community really
They came through.
Yeah,
through.
they
Like, I
did.
feel like that was a good showing.
Miss Amber really helps. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Amber, Sloan.
yeah, she
Mhm.
really helps. Like anytime, like when we were trying to cancel school and stuff like that, she shared our message.
Mhm,
And she always told people like, hey, support the babies because without the babies, we won't got nothing.
mhm, mhm. And I think as like a university community partner, I think it's important to really begin to think of out of school time as connected to school, but also like not replicating school. So a lot of the things that Amber, Nadia and Kamiyah described about how we think about policies. So what does it mean to invite young people to a table or a discussion to decide how a space is governed or how a space is carried out or what we're going to do, what we're going to eat, just basic things of like snack choices, where when you think about their entire schooling career, they haven't made those choices. Am I right? Like what you'll have for lunch, what you'll read, etc. So like how the out of school time space is really transformative and it's not intended to replicate school, not only in the way that learning is presented, but also in the way that learning is organized. So I really think that as a university representative, faculty member, that's one way to think about that community as a support. Can you speak about some of the interchanges you have gone through by being involved in this project? So like, what has changed about you? Or how you see yourself, how you see the world, how you see other people as a result of being a hiker?
I'm more educated.
Okay.
I feel like I'm more my fault.
No, you're fine.
I was gonna say, I feel like I'm more educated on things. Like, yeah, I noticed them, but like, even if I try to make a difference, it's like I couldn't. But now I feel like because I have a group behind me to help me, you know, I feel like things can actually get done at our school / world. Yeah.
I agree. I want to add on what Nadia said because I used to feel like whenever there were projects on, I used to be like, oh, well, I'm too young to help out with this, but I want to help, but I don't know how to. But now that I'm at high, it's kind of just like, now I know that I can help no matter how old I am. And, you know, I have people here to help me.
Did you want to say something, Ryan?
I was saying that I'm more comfortable with not like people, but like people. But it's like, I don't know, I was really antisocial, but it's like, I didn't really have people to be comfortable around. Can't believe myself. Yeah.
Oh, we make you feel comfortable.
Butter our biscuits there.
For me, honestly, like the interchanges, I've been through a lot, child. It's been a lot. Just seeing height change and seeing the way that I've grown. Because when I first started, I was just a regular person, just coming here for a check. I'm not even gonna lie. I was coming to collect a check, but now it's like, as a student leader, I feel like there's more of a sense of maturity and responsibility that I've had to go through to get to this point to see like height is what it is today. Because honestly, 2019 Amber, she can never. She even know.
What about you, Kayla? How have you changed since you've been like?
I feel like I'm more open about talking about certain things. I'm not gonna say all things. I still have assignments gonna be quiet about how I feel about everything and stuff like that. But I have found a place that does make me slightly comfortable about saying how I feel about certain things. Most of it.
What about you, Sana?
Height has changed me. ain't out there no more. I ain't gonna feel like you have a problem with me anymore. I had changed.
You have, yeah, you have. We're very proud of you.
Especially from last week on the bus.
Oh my gosh.
Changed.
Good job for that. We're proud of you.
So you don't react as quickly.
I just don't care no more.
Good. I think hype has changed me because I laugh more. I'm not a buzzkill as much to Nadia. But as someone who was not from Pittsburgh, I think it is an honor truly to be introduced to this city and oriented daily, weekly to this city by way of young people, specifically these young ladies. So I just feel like more humble, more aware, more healed, more whole. So yeah. All right. Do you see yourselves pursuing careers or opportunities involved in schools or school policies?
No.
You're going to law.
But that's not a school.
That's
It
what
could.
school policies do.
I object.
Yeah.
So maybe do y'all want to share what you think you're interested in doing career-wise? Just as the sharing, if it's not connected to schools?
I mean, mine's not really connected to school. Mine is culinary, so we cooking and stuff like that. So either
Okay.
like working and stuff like that.
Okay. What about you, Sana? What do you think
Cook
career-wise?
better school meals.
What do you think career-wise in life?
Well, like she said, mine ain't connected to school, but just being a little registered nurse.
Not a little
Sure.
register. Okay.
How about you, Nadia?
Me? I already said I want to be a defense attorney.
Okay.
Really was.
Kamiyah.
Not just going to either, but I want to be a cosmetologist.
I got big dreams, y'all.
As
I
you
want to
should.
be a gynecologist and obstetrician, but I do want to open like hospitals and outpatient clinics and stuff like that. But I do want to get kids that are in high school involved to show them like different careers in medical field and stuff like that, and give them like something to do throughout the summer so they're not just out here exposed to anything and stuff like that. So I still want to have a part in the youth around me and not just helping people push out babies and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm all over the place whenever it comes to what I want to do. But I feel like mine is not really school related because I have a thing like I'm very interested in photography and film. So like I want to do something in that field and I don't know.
That's where you change it.
For real.
But
You
I-
thought it was psychology.
Exactly.
It's like, let me finish.
All parts in us.
But I also want to be a psychologist because I don't know, something about that just seems really up my alley. And then I also have a thing where I want to learn how to cook. So, culinary's up there too. I'm just, I'm all over the place. I'm not even gonna lie.
You're gonna do it all.
Yes, I will.
You're
As
right.
you should.
All right. So the next question, what do you experience in hype media that you wished you experienced in school?
Everything.
Everything.
Talks about your mental health and stuff like that.
Yes, because
Check up on you when you're not being like that talkative and if you're not being how you usually would be.
Mhm.
People care outside of the program. It's not like we see each other Monday, Wednesdays. All right, see y'all next week. It's not like that. It's like we have a relationship in the program and out of the program.
Mhm.
yeah. And I have a family.
That's so sweet.
What about you, Sana? Or Kamiyah? What would you like to see that we do in hype at school?
Honestly, being more comfortable with each other.
Mhm.
Well,
What was the question?
What would you like to see in school that we do in hype? Like what could?
I already said I was the first one to say.
Oh, she said
More help, mental
Oh,
health.
you did. Okay, get us together. All right. There's a great saying, nothing about us without us. So we're-
period.
Okay, we'll read that one.
That's loud.
Oh, he would like to assist y'all with the wellness room. So
Oh,
we'll-
thank
Thank you. We need it.
After table, get your contact.
It's right here.
information.
We'll email. Yep.
Let me take a picture.
We gonna
Or
say-
Jackson.
All right,
Okay.
you got it?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Are you sure?
All right. Next question. If you could create a school,
Yeah.
are y'all listening already?
Yes.
All right. If you could create a school, what would it be like?
Not Westinghouse.
Okay.
Ooh,
What
better.
would you?
I didn't speak up on this,
There's
but
another
Hold on,
question.
let me read the whole question and then, well, so if you could create a school, what would it be like? What would you want to learn? And how would you want it to work with young people and their families and caregivers and communities? So if you could create a school, what would it be like? What would you learn? And how would you work with other people? Young, family, caregivers, communities.
I was just talking about this today.
You
I thought Nadia was going.
Yeah,
Nadia could go first.
Okay.
Okay. So I didn't speak about this, but like school lunches are trash. That's all. So I'll make sure that like at the school I would has lunches that kids would actually want to eat, so they're not starving all day at school. And that could be the only place they could really get a meal. And I would make sure that communication between students and staff are up there. Same with staff and the parents, because sometimes things need to be more understood. I mean, I would make sure they learn the basics they need for life, like home ec, how to check your credit, get a debit card, how to drive, things like that, that can actually help them outside of school. Not stupid geometry, because no one's gonna learn geometry, need to learn about it while they're cash register. So I would make sure that they learn things they need for their future.
The school that I would create, it would be pretty much just student and family based for real. It wouldn't just be like, all right, you're gonna learn biology, algebra, this, like, no. We're gonna talk about, sit down and make a plan about what you wanna learn about, how we can help you learn about, and how you learn. Like, it's not gonna be a teacher teaching at you. I want them to specialize in how you need to be taught, because not everybody learns the same way. I would also like bring the families in and talk to them like what they need in their household, things that they're not getting, things that they feel like, you know, they want to do, stuff like that, because a lot of the times, if you're not getting what you need at home, you can't put your all into school. And I'll also teach them what Nadia said, like how to apply for a mortgage, how to apply for an apartment, let them know that there's an application fee for an apartment, stuff like that, like just basic life skills, because a lot of times in school, we'll learn that stuff. Only time you really might learn it is if you go to financial math, and a lot of people don't go because we're recommended for pre-calc or college.
Yeah, I got recommended for geometry. I don't know how that's gonna help me, but I'm excited.
I gotta do geometry anyway.
What would the school look like? Because y'all have commented a lot on like what the school physically looks like. So to this question about creating a school, what would it like physically look like, and why is that physical piece so important to the
It
school
wouldn't look like a
experience?
jail. It would look like a nice school with like flowers, gardens, things like that. You know, get kids involved with the decorating
Yeah,
the walls, decorating the outside.
Colorful.
Yes.
That blue and gold ain't doing it.
Some more colors,
Yeah.
flowers, lights,
Yes,
vibrant.
making it look like it's
Nice.
not somewhere you're gonna be doomed at the whole day.
Lights
Where
that
you
actually
wanna
work,
be at.
'cause them lights just make school so different.
Actual mirrors,
Yeah.
things that help with that time of the month for females, things like that.
Actual working stalls.
Yes.
Essentials for the bathroom, make it sound better, especially in the boys' bathroom.
Okay. Maria's affirming it. Does Hype Media have a Philly chapter?
Shall we try to get there? Y'all want one?
Maybe we could partner with somebody.
For real.
Okay, here's another question. What makes you feel free? And what makes you feel loved?
I'm looking at me.
Well, you
I
know,
might cry, but I don't
I'm
know.
not gonna look at you.
It's just, I've really been thinking about this a lot lately. Because as a teenager, you go through a really weird transitioning period throughout your life, especially in high school. You're trying to figure out, you know, this jump from childhood to adulthood in like 2 seconds. Like literally, I'm a senior now. Like, oh my God, what's going on? But I think I'm still trying to figure out what makes me feel free. but things that make me feel loved or people just taking time to understand me and why I am the way I am and not making assumptions based on what they see on the outside or what they hear from other people.
Should I go next? What makes me feel free is listening to Stray Kids music. I think that I recommend it to all. Or just listening to music and reading things that I like to read and just chilling. Makes me feel free. Takes the word off my shoulders, even though it's not there. Anyways, what makes me feel love is also Stray Kids music. So I should be a brand ambassador, but like in America, if you're watching Stray Kids, hit me up.
What do these people look like at this point?
All right.
Anyways, but what makes me feel loved is like what Amber said. People understanding me, dealing with my amazing personality.
Oh, it's amazing.
It is. Don't even try to diss it.
No, it's beautiful. It's so full. It's so full.
Just understanding what I like and trying to either relate to what I like, or if you're into what I like, then just talk to me about it and stuff like that.
Oh, sorry.
Also nicknames. Nicknames should make people feel loved. Everyone should have a nickname in their life.
What makes you feel free and loved?
Be honest, I don't know what makes me feel free. I guess I'm still trying to figure that out. What makes me feel loved?
Me.
I
Good
guess reassurance. And people just like not making assumptions about me, like because of how I am on the outside. Like I have a very interesting personality, and I feel like when I show that to people, they're kind of like, "Oh, so she's that type of person." But really, I'm really not. I'm a really nice person.
It's fine.
But yeah,
Can I use the bathroom?
what happened?
Kayla, what about you? What makes you feel free and feel loved?
I guess I could say what makes me feel free. It's like when I'm like around my friends and we're all doing something fun. Like there's no drama with anyone else that's in a friend group or kind of like listening to music. And I guess something that makes me feel loved, I guess, is when someone is like patient with me and it's not pushing me to express how I feel about everything because they know I'm a quiet person and I don't do that that often. And for me to do that, I have to put a lot of trust in me and stuff like that. And that's kind of hard for me.
So,
What makes me feel love is like assurance, and what makes me feel free is like I don't know.
What makes me feel free is like actually feeling accepted. And I'm to that age where I'm still trying to figure out what people love and what I love and all that.
There's a lot of new
Oh,
messages.
someone says geometry. Oh wait, they said how geometry actually applies to real life. I thought they were saying.
I don't.
Unless your career deals with like maybe building things, then it really does not matter if you learn geometry or not. I don't know why it's such an important class.
So I can see that like architecture,
Yeah.
interior design. If you are in art, you don't think in art geometry matters? Maybe not the formulas, but like the shapes.
Not really, because not all are in shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like what I like.
Anatomy.
Geometry ain't got nothing to do with what I like.
All right. Do y'all have any questions for these folks?
Did y'all enjoy it?
Yeah, like did y'all enjoy?
Who's y'all favorite?
All right. This was amazing. Okay, here's a question. What do you think are people's biggest misunderstandings about who you are and who young Black girls are?
They try to stereotype us
Yeah,
into loud
they're-
mouth, always trying to fight.
Disrespectful, just rude.
Ghetto. That word
Exactly.
right there.
What's wrong with that word?
A lot.
That is so.
It's not accurate.
It's not.
It's
Like,
perceived to be so negative.
Exactly. Like, just because I'm black, I'm supposed to be
Well,
ghetto.
if you ask
like,
a person, what is ghetto mean? How do you explain it? What's ghetto? What is
A
it?
black person.
That's
Yeah.
the only thing they can say. That makes no sense.
I think the biggest misunderstanding about me, like personally, is that I'm rude. Cause like the way my tongue comes out, what are y'all doing? This is exactly what I'm talking about. Well, no, like the way my tone is sometimes, it can be seen as rude or aggressive. And honestly, that's not how I am. It's just my tone. And I can say like the most loving thing, like, what do you mean by that? It's like, bro, I'm trying to love you. Like, but yeah.
I can confirm that.
Any other misunderstandings?
Oh, they were all fast if you were certain things.
Yeah.
Like I hate hearing that.
That is my least favorite thing. Like, even like whenever I'm out with my friends and they're wearing something, and like we'll hear people say how, oh, she's fast because, oh, look at what she's wearing. Or if my friend has on lashes, people assume that she's grown.
Or she's more like a group of boys. Like, no, I don't play me in the group of females. We're not swimming with dudes.
Exactly.
Do all that, and they understand that. None of them.
When I was younger, I remember I wasn't allowed to wear red nail polish because it was too grown for me.
Yeah.
Or you can't play in makeup because you're being too grown or too fast. Why are you hypersexualizing me? For what reason? I'm 6. There's no need for that. Like, no, it's just not acceptable.
So how do we work against these assumptions, y'all think? Like, how do we push back against them or change them?
I think it's a generational thing.
Yeah.
I think it has a lot to do with a lot of generational trauma, and all you can do for real, to me, is like teach them why saying things like that are harmful, and just try to help them not make the same mistake going forward.
If they'll listen.
Yeah, because not everybody's gonna listen, but it's worth a try.
It is worth a try. Well, thank you all for joining us. We do invite you to follow us on social media. We are taking, this is our last activity for the year.
Yeah.
So we are taking a break for summer. But in the fall, please do stay connected with Hype Media. If you'd like to support us locally or in Philly, we'd love to have conversations because these are concerns that students are having in schools across our nation, that Black girls are having in communities that grow into, other experiences that need larger conversations. And so we're always looking for partners and other young people to be in dialogue with, because when this group has talked with students at other schools, it's been really eye-opening to see that, like, oh, that's happening at my school too, or this is what this looks like at my school, so it doesn't feel so isolated, and that there's a larger work to be done. So thank you all for joining us. And thank you all for sharing so beautifully. I know y'all were kind of nervous, but y'all did amazing. Y'all did so good. Y'all did so good. And so we will try to save the chat so that we can keep.
Well,
yes.
You're welcome.
So we'll try to save the chat so that we make sure that we get the information that was shared. And thank you again. And we look forward to our numbers running up on Instagram and Facebook for follows.
And don't forget to listen to our podcast. It is in the link in our bio on Instagram.
Yeah, and we'll have new episodes in the fall. Oh, somebody's from Bermuda. That's
Yo, we made it big.
I ain't never heard that day in my life. Fill me in.
Bermuda.
Y'all heard the Bermuda Triangle?
We made it big. Just
Maybe
that.
it's out there. It's far.
We made it worldwide.
Yeah.
Hi.
I can say hi in a couple different languages.
What languages you got?
Aloha, hola, bonjour. There's like ni hao, ni hao, man. Not with an A, right? Yeah, whatever. I almost had that. We love you all from everywhere.
All right, thanks everyone.
Sponsor me.